Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about section 4.2, changes in supply. We're going to be reading page 79 through 85 and answering questions 1 through 7. So let's start off with number 1. What is the name of the non-price factors that can shift a supply curve? If you look on page 79, you'll see in bold where it says determinants of supply. These are the non-price factors that can shift an entire supply curve. They are called the determinants of supply. And if you want to see what they are, go ahead and flip the page, go to page 80, and you will see 6 bullet points at the top of page 80. Price of resources, government tools, technology, competition, price of related goods, and producer expectations. Those are the 6 determinants of supply. We're going to go ahead and talk about all 6. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and take a look at what happens when the supply curve actually shifts. Because when the determinants of supply shift, the supply curve is going to shift as well. So if you look at figure 4.4 to the left, you'll see where it says increase in supply. There you'll see that the supply curve is shifting to the right from S1 to S2. When there's an increase in supply, the supply curve shifts to the right. If you look to the right of an increase in supply, you'll see where it says decrease in supply. And you'll see the supply curve shifts to the left from S1 to S3. When there's a decrease in supply, the supply curve is going to shift to the left. Now let's go ahead and go back and take a look at that first determinant of supply, which is the price of resources. When the price of resources goes up, generally that's going to make main firms are making less profits, which means supply is going to drop. So think about, as an example, let's say you have an apple juice manufacturer and the price of apples goes up. If that was the situation, this apple juice manufacturer is paying more for apples, which means that their profit is going to be going down, which means they're not going to supply as much. So that would mean the supply is going to fall, which is going to shift the supply curve to the left. Now, let's move on to number 3 here as we talk about the 3 different government tools that affect supply. So if you look on page 81, you'll see the first one. It's in bold. It's a tax. And a tax is basically a required payment to the government. Taxes are generally going to reduce supply. If there's a tax cut, that will increase supply. If there's a tax increase, that is going to decrease supply because taxes cut into profits. So if businesses have to pay taxes on goods, they're not going to be producing them because they don't want to have to pay those taxes. Now, if you turn the page and go to page 82, you'll see subsidies. Subsidies, ladies and gentlemen, are payments from the government. Basically what's happening is businesses are being paid by the government to produce something. All right, so generally subsidies are going to increase supply, shifting the supply curve to the right. Now finally, that last government tool that affects supply is regulation. Regulation are basically rules that businesses have to follow. Regulation is going to decrease supply because when there's more regulation, there's more compliance costs. Think about like a Target, for instance. Target, when the government mandates that it has rules that it has to follow, it needs to hire people to teach those rules and to enforce those rules. And all that is going to go ahead and increase compliance costs, which is going to decrease supply. So more regulation is going to decrease supply. Now, moving on to number 4 here, we have our next determinant of supply, which is technology. And then it says for number 4, give me an example of how an increase in technology can increase supply. A great example there, if you look in the book, would be the assembly line. Back in the early 1900s, you have Henry Ford, decided to produce automobiles with an assembly line. And that, ladies and gentlemen, greatly increased the supply of cars. And so generally, if you have better technology, that's going to increase supply, shifting to the right. Worse technology is going to decrease supply, and it's going to shift it to the left. Now, let's go on to competition. So if there's less competition in the market, will this increase or decrease supply? So less competition means there's going to be less suppliers, and so that's going to decrease supply, going to shift the supply curve to the left. More competition means there's more suppliers. That's going to increase supply and shift the supply curve to the right. Now, moving on here, if you turn to page 84 and look at the next determinant, which is prices of related goods. And for that one, I went ahead and give you a scenario. So if you have a wheat farmer who discovers they can make more money by producing corn instead of wheat, will they most likely switch to making corn, and what effect does this have on the supply of corn? So yes, the wheat farmer is going to switch to making corn because they can make more money. That's going to increase the supply of corn. It's going to shift the supply curve for corn to the right. And then finally, if you look at the bottom of page 84, the last determinant of supply is producer expectations. So it says, how do producer expectations affect supply? So basically what it comes down to is this. So if producers expect they can sell a good for more money for any reason in the future, they're going to increase supply because they want to sell it for more. If they think they're going to have to earn less money in the future, say due to a recession, that's going to decrease supply, and that's going to shift the supply curve to the left. All right. So if they expect they can sell more, increase in supply, or sell it for more money, that's going to increase supply. And if they think they're going to have to sell it for less, then you're going to go ahead and decrease it. Okay. Now, so tomorrow I will go ahead and check that you completed all of these questions, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.